Today in our 2010 Lincoln MKX, we're going to install the Curt Hitch, part number C13067. Here are a couple measurements to assist you with selecting accessories for your new hitch. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost point of the bumper is 5.5 inches. From the top of the receiver tube to the ground is 12.5 inches. Now let's go ahead with the installation. Our first step, we need to lower the exhaust. Before we lower the exhaust though, we're going to want to put a safety strap under it so we can control how far and fast the exhaust will fall. To remove the hangers, I recommend using a little spray lubricant on each one of the rubber hangers. This will assist in removal and reinstallation later. Then we can take a pry bar or a pair of pliers and just push the rubber hanger off the metal bracket. There's the passenger side. We'll repeat the same process for the driver's side and our center hanger. Next, we need to relocate the rear fascia bracket. We'll have to remove the screw holding it in place. We're going to carefully push the center support toward the impact bar here in the rear. Then we'll just go ahead and reinstall the center support screw. Now with our center support out of the way, we need to remove both heat shields. There are a total of 3 fasteners for both. Now we have the 3 fasteners out, there's a push pin fastener here towards the center that we'll need to remove also. You can use a flat bladed screwdriver or a trim tool. Just get underneath of it and pry it free. On the driver's side, before you can completely remove the heat shield, you'll need to go ahead and remove the fastener holding the wiring harness to the heat shield. Next, we need to go ahead and trim our heat shields so they can be reinstalled. We'll need to cut the tab off both heat shields and the corner out on each. Now I'm going to use a 4-inch grinder, so I won't be able to cut exact arc, but I can get close. There's our driver's side heat shield. I'll repeat the same process with the passenger side. Now that we've got our heat shields trimmed, we're going to go ahead and install the forward fasteners on the driver's side. We'll take our pull wire that's provided in our install kit, feed it from our forward fastener all the way to the back of the frame. There's a hole where the frame and the bumper meet. This will be our access hole for pulling the hardware into position. We'll reach up under the fascia, take our pull wire out. We'll put on our 1¼ by 3-inch block, and then we'll thread on our 1.5 carriage bolt. Now when we pull these up into the frame, it's best to go ahead and feed your block into the frame first. Once they're both up into the frame, we'll go ahead and pull them into position. With my bolt in position, I'll go ahead and remove my pull wire. Now I'll go ahead and do the middle fastener. We're going to repeat the same steps. Quick tech tip to note, our forward 2 fasteners on each side will be the 1.5 carriage bolts, and the rear fastener for each side will be the 1.75 inch. We'll go ahead and leave the second bolt leader on, as it will assist us to put a hitch up into place without pushing our hardware back into the frame. Next, I'm going to go ahead and install the heat shield on the driver's side. For the reinstallation of the heat shield, we will not be using the 2 frame fasteners, as the heat shield will get smashed between the hitch and the frame. Now that we've got the forward 2 fasteners and the heat shield installed on the driver's side, I'm going to repeat the same process on the passenger side, with the exception of the wiring harness that we'll have to reinstall on the driver's side heat shield. We'll go ahead and do that now. Now with our 4 forward fasteners in place, we're ready to go ahead and put our hitch up into position. It's a good idea to get an extra set of hands to help you hold it in place. As we put our hitch in place, we'll go ahead and feed our pull wire through our center attachment point. Be careful when you put your hitch up into place not to push your hardware back up into the frame. We'll attach our carriage bolts with the 1/2-inch flange nuts. Once we have our forward attachment in place, we can go ahead and remove our pull wire and then install the center flange nut. Now we have the hardware installed for the 4 forward attachment points. We're going to go ahead and tighten them down. With the 4 forward attachment points tightened down, we can now use the hitch as a template to drill out the 2 rearmost fasteners on each side. We'll start with a step bit process, starting with a small pilot bit and working our way up to our 1/2-inch bit for our 1/2-inch carriage bolts. Now with our hole drilled out, we can go ahead and take our pull wire, feed it up through the attachment point, out to the end of the frame, just like we did before. Once we get our block and bolt up into the frame, we'll go ahead and pull it into position. Once it's into position, we can remove our pull wire and thread on our flange nut. That completes the install of all of our fasteners on the driver's side. We'll repeat the same process for the fasteners on the passenger side. With our rear fasteners installed, we'll go ahead and tighten them down. With all of our fasteners tightened down, we can go ahead and torque the specifications as indicated in the instructions. Now that we got the 3 attachment points on the driver's side, torque the specifications, we'll repeat the same process on the passenger side. And with all our fasteners torqued to specifications, we can now go ahead and reinstall the exhaust. And that'll complete the installation of our Curt Hitch, part number C13067.